Fury Ngannou reaction video. Was Ngannou robbed? What do you think of Fury? Is he shit? So I've been thinking about this fight for the last few days, and at the end of the video I'm going to go through the current headlines and say what my thoughts are on it. Okay, Fury Ngannou reaction video. Was Ngannou robbed? The answer is, in my opinion, no. Fury won the fight. But did he deserve to win the fight? My opinion is, yes, he should have won the fight. When I was watching the fight, I felt like I was watching it differently to other people. I forgot about all the backgrounds, everything about it. I just judged every round by every round. Now, I admit I wasn't keeping the scorecard, but what I saw was the champion outlanding the challenger. Now, don't get me wrong, Ngannou put on an amazing performance. You know, incredible what he's done. And Fury, let's be honest, he definitely overlooked him. I know he's making no excuses, which is, you know, the humble right thing to do. Let's just jump in on why I think Fury won the fight. I've already mentioned it, but he landed more punches. Now, Ngannou didn't do enough to win the fight. He wasn't throwing enough punches. He was quite often... Now, he had a good game plan, Ngannou. Give him credit. And yes, incredible performance to come from the UFC and do what he did in a boxing ring on his first fight. Amazing. But he didn't win the fight. He didn't win the fight. I gave him... I admit I wasn't keeping score on the scorecards, but I gave him probably maximum 3 rounds. He got the knockdown, which was a fantastic counterpunch. He's obviously been practicing that. What alarmed me, and I'm not bashing Ngannou, this is a guy that can punch amazingly hard, the hardest hitter in the UFC, probably the hardest hitter in boxing. Why didn't he go to finish off Fury when he had the chance? There was 20 seconds left in the round. I don't even think he threw a punch. The reason probably was he's not ready to fight coming forward, which is completely understandable. It's his first fight. But if you watch the fight, he wasn't throwing enough punches. He was sort of trying to counter Tyson Fury. Good game plan, don't get me wrong. But you've got a champion and you've got a challenger. You know, people say, if you're going to beat the champion, you've got to take the belt off him. He wasn't doing enough. He wasn't throwing enough punches. And I think the third round knockdown highlighted everything about why he didn't win the fight. He knocked him down and didn't do anything about it. So it's a 10-round fight, and I give Ngannou probably maximum 3 or 4 rounds. Admittedly, Fury wasn't doing much in the rounds either. There's an argument that says Ngannou threw the harder punches. He probably did. He had a great 8th round, I think it was, and a good 3rd round. My gut reaction when it went to the scorecards was there's only going to be one winner here. And I was actually quite surprised when Ngannou got the nod on one of the scorecards. And there's been a bit of an outrage where people are going, I can't believe Fury won by 3 rounds. Well, I can. I genuinely could. I'm not knocking Ngannou. Again, a fantastic performance. But it wasn't a very good fight. It was an exciting fight because you didn't know what was going to happen. But it wasn't really a good boxing match. Don't get me wrong, Fury's performance, again, was weak. It's probably the worst performance he's had in years. But we've seen this from Fury before. He does it. And then he comes back with his next fight, an amazing performance. And the bottom line, and the one thing I want to say about this fight, I think a lot of people are acting emotionally on it. Before the fight, everyone said what a joke fight this was, and it was a cash-in from Fury, and poor Ngannou's going to have, you know, his pants pulled down, basically. It didn't happen. Ngannou boxed way better than anyone thought he could. He was clever. He didn't waste anything. Whereas Fury looked bad for Fury. He was slow, he looked a bit tired, he looked hurt in places. He never really was 100% in control of the fight. There was patches where he was, and then Ngannou would do a good flutter and it looked good. And everyone would be like, oh my God, what's going on, because they expected Ngannou to be outclassed. I admittedly thought that Fury would win in 7 rounds. I thought he'd wear him down slowly and then go for the kill later on. And Fury landed some good punches on Ngannou. He's got a good chin. Definitely got a good chin. In summary, Ngannou didn't do enough to win the fight. I think Teddy Atlas gave it quite wide to Fury. I genuinely believe a lot of people who thought Ngannou won, possibly controversial, have a motive for wanting Ngannou to win or wanting Fury to lose. A close fight, but maybe 2 or 3 rounds to Fury. And again, I think what made this so much more drama was the fact that everyone thought Ngannou was going to get outclassed, and everyone thought Fury was going to easily beat him. And that made the bits of work, which was good, by the way, that Ngannou did do, seem amazing because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And that's why people thought Ngannou won. In my opinion, the champion I think he threw more punches, but he definitely landed more punches. You can't win a fight if you don't throw punches. Again, incredible, massive respect to both fighters. More respect in this fight to Ngannou. incredible achievement. Incredible achievement. So let's go and have a look at the latest news headlines. Let's just have a laugh. Here we go. Hearn says Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou is a bigger fight than Fury Usyk. No, it's not. Come on, I love Eddie Hearn, but come on, no. And I understand he's beating the drum for his fighter Anthony Joshua, but it's not a bigger fight than Fury Usyk. Usyk becomes a huge favourite against Fury, Eddie Hearn. No, he doesn't. Fury's going to win that fight, in my opinion, and Fury is the favourite. Are we overlooking that Usyk didn't look very good against Dubois and arguably got beat? And also, he struggled against Chisora, who Fury outclassed easily. Now, don't get me wrong, Styles makes fights, but I think Usyk is an amazing talent at cruiserweight. I think at heavyweight, he's good, very good. But can he beat a prime Fury? No. Will a prime Fury turn up against Usyk? I think it will. I think it'll probably be his last prime performance. I think he's going to train really hard and win that fight. It's not going to be easy, but ultimately he's bigger. And a big, good fighter beats a little good fighter. Hearn says Fury's legacy massively tainted due to Ngannou's struggle. A little bit. You have to give him a little bit of that. Oh, it depends. If Ngannou goes and fights 3 and 4 more fights and knocks out everyone, they'll say, actually, Fury's performance wasn't that bad. And Ngannou is capable, surely, of beating some top 10 fighters because he's got an amazing punch and he's got a good chin by the looks of things. So, what are the odds Ngannou an underdog in the Fury rematch? Yeah, he is. If they have a rematch, Ngannou, for me, will still be the underdog. And I would expect Fury to win again. Alex Krasik wants best version of Fury against Usyk. You'll get it. You will get it. Is Francis Ngannou worthy of a top 10 world ranking? The answer is no, because he has fought one fight and lost it. However, do I think he could be a top 10 fighter? Absolutely. What next for Francis Ngannou? Should he stay in boxing or go back to MMA? Well, stay in boxing, definitely. He's already achieved everything in MMA, hasn't he? I'm not a big follower of the UFC anymore. I used to watch it, but I believe he was the champion. And he left with the belt. And he was making not very much money a fight. And then he comes to boxing and probably earns more money in one fight than all his UFC fights. I don't know, by the way. I'm just guessing, but I can believe that would be true because I know the UFC don't pay well, do they? Right, let's move on. Gareth A. Davis denies Francis Ngannou robbed against Tyson Fury. I agree. Ngannou wasn't robbed. Not at all. Could you make a case that he won it? You could, based on his power punches. Carl Froch weighs in. Fury versus Ngannou. It's corruption at the highest level. No, it's not, Carl. Most respect to you. Utmost respect. But no, it's not corruption at the highest level. Tyson Fury, it wasn't one of my best performances. Onto Usyk. Said it all, really. Oh yeah, so go back over Fury's career and have a look. He had some bad fights. He's always come through them though, and that's the main thing. And then he'll come back with an amazing performance. I remember when he fought John McDermott for the British title in about his 7th or 8th fight, and some people thought he lost that one, and that was a very close fight. And I bumped into him actually in Revolution in Wilmslow. I saw him at the bar and I turned to him, mate, it's a good British champion there. British champion boxer. No one knew who he was. There was 2 of them at the bar, Tyson and his mate. So I went over and chatted to him for a while, which was really good. And I talked to him about the John McDermott fight and he told me he was having a rematch. But yeah, a really nice guy actually. And that was when no one knew who he was at all, but obviously being a boxing fan, I saw him and I was like, I've got to speak to Tyson. So Fury has had bad performances in the past and then just come back with a good one. Fury and Ngannou, should we be that surprised? I think we should. To downplay it now would be not fair because before the fight there were people saying they weren't going to watch it. And what an amazing performance from Francis Ngannou, who clearly has got some good fundamental boxing skills that people thought he didn't have, coupled with a Tyson Fury that thought it was going to be an easier fight, so probably didn't take it that serious despite him saying he did. Eddie Hearn lays into Fury, says Joshua will knock him out in 6 rounds. No, I still don't see it, Eddie. I see Fury winning that on points. The only risk to Fury, and he's got an amazing chin, is when he gets in close against anyone, because he could win most of his fights just on the outside, and he doesn't want to do it, which is fine. But look what he did to, Klitschko in, a bit of a snooze fest, but nevertheless, he could do that to anyone if he trained hard enough, but he likes knocking people out. and I genuinely think he thought he was going to knock Ngannou out like he knocked out Wilder by pushing forward on him, but he's come across someone who's made him think twice. And that's why I think when he was going in sometimes he was a bit tentative, and he didn't. Tyson Fury himself didn't throw enough punches in that fight. He threw more, he landed more definitely than Ngannou, but he wasn't firing on all cylinders either. Last one, the Gypsy King humiliated by Ngannou. There's a bit of truth in that. I think he feels like shit actually. Tyson Fury probably feels like that didn't go to plan. It wasn't that bad. He still got the win. He needs to pick himself up, have a rest over Christmas, put some decent training in, get the right people around him. He knows what to do. He's done it before many times, and come back and beat Usyk. And by the way, I'm not a Tyson Fury fanboy by any stretch. I love boxing. I am a big fan of Usyk. I'm a big fan of Fury, big fan of Joshua, big fan of all of them. I haven't got a favourite fighter, I'll just speak honest, and that's my opinion on the fight.